I am back again. I know I'm just hammering these out. Sorry, I had a ton of, like I said, massive backlog I had to get to. And of course, I had to get to this one eventually. Dragon Ball Z, that time I got reincarnated as Yamcha. I know this is technically not an Akira Toriyama created work, and even by everybody, it's not canon, of course. But I was curious about it because, one, it is a Akira Toriyama inspired work done by a gentleman. His name is Dragonball Lee. Pardon me. Which obviously is not his real name. It's probably just like a username he created or something like that. I am curious what the fans can do with Akira Toriyama's works. I am curious what they want to do and how would they go about changing certain things. I'm a what if kind of person. Like, one of my favorite comic book series was the series called What If. It imagined different worlds, like, hey, what if, Captain America was the Punisher instead of, Steve Rogers? What if Iron Man sold out? Stuff like that. There's more that are much better, I think, even. But I like that, some people are willing to see, it's like, well, what if this happened instead? And that's what this is about. Those who know about Dragon Ball, or Dragon Ball Z more importantly, know that Yamcha is probably one of the biggest punching bags. Hell, Dragon Ball Z Abridged makes fun of it by the fact he's the only one who got killed by a Cyberman. Now, because of that, this one guy, who I guess he probably either really liked Yamcha or just decided to say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to make one of the weakest characters one of the best characters. He wrote a story where, in all essence, a guy ends up getting himself hurt and pretty much knocked out, and he wakes up and he is Yamcha. He is in Yamcha's body, everything. And hijinks. That's the best way to describe it. Not in the normal sense. There is certain stuff he does throughout, because he is a huge Dragon Ball fan. Like, he loves Dragon Ball, and he knows so much about Dragon Ball, that he decides to use that to his advantage to make Yamcha strong. Like, he purposely tries, he's like, alright, I'm not going to have Yamcha die by a Cyberman. This is his main first goal. So what he does is he trains like mad. He trains with Krillin and Goku to participate in the World Martial Arts Tournament, the first one that you ever see in the original, manga and everything. And he also eventually, whenever Raditz, it's never really explained that. I was like, well, what about Raditz? Did you go fight him or something? Or just happened like, I'm just not going to appear? I don't know, it wasn't really explained. But he also, while he's doing all his training, he decides to go to Namek and unleash his inner power. And somehow that still doesn't make him strong enough to be able to defeat Vegeta. He can beat Nappa, but he can't beat Vegeta. It's kind of weird. But there's actually some really good fighting that this guy does. And I will say, it's like, this guy, he actually does most of this drawing. Like, as you can see, like, this is very Akira Toriyama-esque. But it's not straight up, Akira Toriyama. Sorry, I kind of flipped over to a random area that doesn't seem to make as much sense. But I love that, he feels like he's drawing Akira Toriyama, but a little bit even almost better than Akira Toriyama does. And, hey, kudos. Thanks for the great art, and on top of everything, this is funny as hell. It's meant to be a joke. All of this is meant to be just goofy, random, silly fun. And that's how this feels. This feels like goofy, random, silly fun. I think there is some great, humor to constantly be had. I like the fact that Yamcha is actually going to be useful throughout certain parts of it. If I can sort out one blame, or one issue, as you can see, one, this is kind of short. It's kind of smaller than regular. I mean, like, here's one. I'll just let you know it's My Hero Academia Volume 5. I mean, look, kind of teeny tiny. It's kind of about half the size of a normal manga. Now, also, like, the whole, like, trying to get Yamcha to live and all this other stuff, eventually it just kind of is put on the back burner. there's never any explanation. One, why does he not go to Namek with the other, guys? Hey, wish for immortality or something like that. There's never an explanation, hey, well, why doesn't he do this? Why doesn't he do that? And I think that's its biggest problem, is like the first few chapters really deal with Yamcha this guy trying to make Yamcha stronger. And, it kind of makes Yamcha a little bit of a better, player-created character. But the last bit, even though it was actually cool, there is another guy you learn who is reincarnated as a character. I'm not going to tell you which character. And unfortunately, that takes place over the stuff dealing with the Cell games, or right before it. And there's never any explanation about, like, well, what happened whenever he almost got killed by Android 20, or anything like that. And that's, like I said, that's an issue. I think there could have been a little bit more added into there. Not disparaging the writer any more than he did. Just, I think that he worried a little too much to try and make more of an interesting story. I know I'm kind of nitpicking here. Worry about writing that interesting story that ended up bridging off of his what if to the point where the what if became superfluous is the best way to put it. And not trying to, say that's the worst thing ever. Just, it detracts. It makes it feel like the last half of this book is a little less than the first half. And personally, I wouldn't have minded seeing, maybe he takes out Zarbon, or maybe he takes out the Doria, or something like that. Anything, along that coolness to try and show more of like, hey, he is making Yamcha more powerful. But instead, we just get this one fight between his other character. Though there is a funny bit at the end that is just makes me laugh my ass off. And again, like I said, that's the big shining part of this entire story that actually really works, is its humor. The humor feels very much in line with what you would expect from Toriyama in his later years. The better Toriyama, not the I'm going to make poop and panty jokes. Which some poop jokes can be funny, because I laugh at poop jokes myself. But like the weird stuff with Master Roshi liking to fill up on young girls. But hey, at least the rest of this, though, it feels a lot more refined. It feels much more strangely thought out. Like, that's actually a surprising thing. I was really expecting this not to be as well thought out as it ended up being. But hey, at least this was, entertaining. That's the big thing that I can say, because I'm used to many of these like fan things being kind of not very entertaining. And if I ever can get my hands on it, I will eventually review Dragonball AF. I'm at least curious enough about it, even though I know, again, it's not canon, obviously. So we'll see. Dragon Ball, it's time I got reincarnated as Yamcha. It turns out to be a pretty fun little trip. Is it the best thing ever Dragon Ball done? No. Though it's a really great fan project. I will say that much. And I'm happy that they decided to release this in a wider format, so that way everybody can enjoy it. Because Dragon Ball AF, even though it may not be the greatest thing in the world, from what I've heard and what I've kind of seen, it's still, at least, give us these fan stuff. I don't mind the fan stuff. Just maybe I guess Akira Toriyama doesn't like that they follow GT. But hey, I will see y'all later. Be thankful this is the last review for a little bit. I hopefully will have another review soon. I just need to let the camera battery charge for a bit. So until then, everybody, I will see you all later. So bye-bye.